What's a PhD? Who cares?
It's just a PhD.
It's just a PhD. My friends are like, you're crazy. They're like, oh yeah, hey, Mr. Blah, 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 blah. And you're like, that's doctor.
That's doctor for you.
Yeah, that's doctor.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to Coffee with Zach. I am Zach Hathaway, your host, and today I am joined with two very special guests.
I am Tiffani Wharry now, Tiffani Wharry, and I just got married. And I am the Executive Director of Family Promise of Genesee County.
Today's show notes are going to be on our website. The show notes are where you're going to find the most in-depth analysis of today's show. As always, we just request a nice review, and if you're listening or watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, share with all your friends, all that fun stuff. That bell icon keeps you notified whenever we upload a new conversation. Without further ado, let's just jump right into the show. We've got a lot to talk about today.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check 1, 2.
So, what
How you
is
been,
new?
man?
Yeah.
Long time no see.
It has been.
You look good.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
Awesome, dude.
It's been an entire quarantine.
I
A
know.
whole pandemic.
I know, right? Crazy. People lives slowed down. Were you one of those people?
Yeah.
Did your life slow down, or?
I don't know if my life slowed down or if it sped up. I think it slowed down in some ways and then it sped up in other ways.
Yeah.
It got a lot more complicated, but it also got simplified in some ways. So, I don't know. It's just been a mess for the last year.
Yeah, I can respect that too. Like I think my family has ate more dinner at the dinner table since COVID has started than ever in, the years that we've been a family, and my son's 13.
I can agree.
So
I moved back home right when the pandemic first started.
lucky.
So yeah.
That was lucky.
I did
kind
get
of.
lucky.
Yeah.
I got very lucky. Yeah, it was so weird when everything first started, though, because I had so many things on my list. I had a pandemic list of things I wanted to do. None of them got accomplished.
Oh yeah.
I guess the weight loss did a little bit. That was more or less unintentional, too.
Oh really?
Yeah, just I had started getting migraines, and I got put on a medication that makes you not hungry. So
that helps.
it helped, yeah. But
I think a lot of people had the opposite effect of quarantine. They just ate the whole time because what else are you gonna do?
right, yeah.
That is one thing I cook at home way more too. We don't eat out nearly as much as we used to.
Yeah.
I try to support my friends because I was a waitress forever too, but we just don't eat out that much anymore. We cook at home, eat at the dinner table, and that's probably one of the best things in my point of view that's happened in my life from the mess that is COVID.
I gotta say, I used to like going out to eat and doing the whole sit down at a restaurant, but now it just feels like a hassle. Do you know how long it takes to sit down and eat at a restaurant?
Yeah, forever.
You gotta sit there for half an hour before they feed you.
Mm-hmm. And not only that, but the time to wait for a table is so much longer because they have to sanitize everything even more and everything. Andiamo's in Fenton, though, if you go there, they have this little scanning machine that you can walk up to, and it scans your body or something like that before you can go in. Yeah, have you seen that? Yeah, it's super cool. Those are super high end, but they're super cool looking too.
That's weird. I was down filming an episode in Orlando, I think, and the entrances to Disney, they were scanning people, I think.
Really?
It was either the entrance to Disney or one of the restaurants down there, but they had those scanner things you had to
Yep. Disney, I could see they have money. You could just walk up there. They probably have 20 of them or something.
It was either there or it might have been a restaurant or something, but I remember you had to put your hand on something and it scanned your temperature somehow.
Oh yeah,
I
there's
can't remember
all
where
kinds
it
of
was,
new
but it was
technology now.
Yeah.
Anything to tell you if you're sick or not sick, or
Yeah.
have a fever, don't have a fever, what are you? Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Yeah, what was on your pandemic list? Did you have anything you were working on over quarantine?
So I am not one of those people whose life slowed down because of quarantine. My life, in fact, got 100 times more busy and more hectic. So I didn't really have a pandemic list. Most of the things on my pandemic list involved like just being able to sit at home, like just be present in my house, because
fair enough.
Yeah, that is just so hard for me to do. So like just to be at home and be present was that alone was helpful.
I find that whenever I get really busy in life, or whenever I'm just up and doing stuff, especially for an extended period of time, like if I don't get a break for a month or 2 months or however long, if I find a day where I feel present and I feel like I'm living in the moment for once, it's refreshing. So
yeah, it's hard for me. Like that was one of the serious concerns that I had to take with my life because of everything that happened, is when you have 3 kids at home, is being present. Like I can't constantly be on my phone. I can't constantly be trying to see what's happening here or happening there.
Yeah.
When I'm at home, I have to make a valid effort. Or when it's home time, because you can't even say when I'm at home, because now work has become home, or home has become work. I don't know how that works out, but when I'm doing home time, like I'm home, I have to actively be present. I have to make myself focus and be in there, not, I can go do this now. I'm going to sit at the computer.
Yeah, with the whole work from home thing, I feel like it takes a lot more effort, and a lot more, what do they call it? Like active realization or something. Some fancy term for that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wish.
There's a name for it.
No, my active realization is I just work way too much. Like, oh, my computer's here in the living room. I'm going to sit here and work while you watch, Coco Melon. Don't watch Coco Melon. Coco Melon. Oh, goodness. That was one bad thing that came out of COVID, is I had to watch Coco Melon so many times.
I'm going to have to watch this Coco Melon. I don't know what this is, but...
Is there any babies in your life? Don't let them watch Coco Melon. Because once they watch Coco Melon, then you will always have to watch Coco Melon. It's like Caillou. Nobody likes Caillou either.
I know what Caillou is.
Yeah, it's the new Coco... Yes. Coco Melon is the new Caillou. Let's put it that way.
Okay, that put it into perspective.
But it's a baby instead of a little boy.
I don't know if that makes it more or less creepy. Probably more creepy. Yeah.
If you don't have kids, probably, yeah. If you have kids, you don't want to watch it either, so.
So, before the pandemic, what were you up to?
Let's see. February-ish. I just broke my ankle. I literally had just had surgery. Like, I had surgery in January. It was a year in January. So I had just gotten over a broken ankle. I was probably still on a scooter. I was on a scooter in March. So.
Yep, because I had to take her around.
Yes. So I couldn't drive. I had no right foot. We were living at the day center. When I could finally actually drive again, and I taught myself how to drive with a boot on, like my car got destroyed here. But mostly I was training to be an awesome roller derby player. And I went to an open skate and was working on one-footed transitions and just rolled my ankle, and I fell on the ground, and I was like, hey, Poco, who was my friend that was there. I think I broke my ankle. And she's
no.
I think you did too, friend. And sure enough.
I think you did too.
Yeah. Yes.
Was it that obvious?
Yeah. And she's such a Care Bear person anyways. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was bad. They had to wheel me out on a sled. And so now I'm back at that.
Nice.
Well, kind of. Because, the whole gym thing. It's you go to the gym?
Yeah.
I've been,
yeah.
So,
hey, look at this.
Yeah, right. I don't want to intimidate you or anything and bust out of this coat, but so the gym is really hard because you have to wear a mask at the gym, right?
It is, yeah.
So I go to this personal trainer, and she's super awesome, and it's a lot easier in there because there's a workout on the board, and I go in, and it's you push yourself as hard as you want to push yourself, and then when you're done, you go home.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what is roller derby for people who don't know what that is?
Okay, so imagine arena football on roller skates, but the person is the ball. not they have a ball. We don't tackle each other. But you can hit with any part of your body.
Okay.
So like my shoulder, like my arms, I can't elbow anybody. My hips, your butt. Like the whole purpose is for a jammer. They're the cool ones. They try to get past the other people on the team. Mm-hmm. And they also have their own team that is out there. There's 10 people. And so whatever jammer gets around the most people, they get a point for every person they pass that's on the other team.
So you're just trying to pass people.
But everyone is trying to
knock you out.
Yes. But you also have another person who's on the court or on the track that's trying to pass people too. Like, that's what the stars are for. Those are both jammers. Okay. And then you have, like, a pivot, which is just the straight stripe. So the jammer and the pivot is technically offense. They play the offensive positions. And then the other ones are blockers. So they're trying to block the jammer from the other team from getting around the track.
This sounds like a painful sport.
Oh, it's not the most comfortable thing. However, when you have when you have a really tough job, I call it therapy. Like, I'll be at board meetings and be like, I have to go now because I have to go to therapy. That was the worst. Like, you can't do anything during a pandemic. We still can't roller skate. We have to have like 14 people per one person be positive for COVID per county of every person on our team. It's insane.
That sounds overly complicated.
Impossible. Yeah. It's amazing. I still roller skate all the time. I've been roller skating outside right now, so that's awesome because it's nice again. It's just a bunch of girls and guys. They have guy roller derby too. And co-ed.
I didn't know that.
So boys and girls.
Interesting.
And we just kick the crap out of each other on roller skates. And then afterwards we go have pizza and hang out together and we're all friends.
So it seems like an athletic thing, but it seems like there's a social aspect of it too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right. Yeah.
And a lot of us are like, moms that just need our own thing outside of being a mom. Mm-hmm. That's what we do with our free time is kick the crap out of other women and name ourselves really funny things. Like, yeah. One person at our gala, for instance, like we had Family Promise Gala, and our intern here came up to me and was like, I didn't know that you knew Kara. And I was like, who was Kara? Like, I don't know a Kara. What are you talking about? And she's like, Kara, Mrs. Richardson at your table. And I was like, Risky? Who is Kara? Like, her name isn't Kara. Like, she's like, oh yeah, she's my, she was my teacher at my school or my secretary or something like that. I don't know, but she's like calling her by her real name. That's not her name. So, people ask, do you know this person? Not by that name. I have no idea who that would be.
So does everybody just have a different name?
Yeah, like mine is Zero Faux Given, like Faux.
Got it.
Yeah, and it's multi-layered on purpose. And it's spelled Xero, because my husband is a pro wrestler, and his name is Nick Zero, so now we're Mr. and Mrs. Zero. And we have, like, matching shirts and stuff. We're pretty cool, if you ask me. I hear you laughing over there. But, everybody wishes they had a pro wrestler for a husband, I swear. It's probably the coolest thing that I brag about to people. What about you? What were you doing before the pandemic hit?
What was I doing before the pandemic hit?
Well, you were working on your documentary for a while. You were going to do that, and then...
Trying, yeah.
Yeah.
I was doing that. I was trying to get, this whole thing started. I was trying to find people to... A lot of work.
Yeah, I know. That's. I haven't really worked that much. Like, we were talking about unemployment, Like, I know there's some people that want to actively go back to work, and they just... feasibly can't make the decision to make less money by working, and then also have more responsibility or more bills because you choose to do that. Work is never ending.
It really is. I feel like with the pandemic, since we all have been accustomed to working at home, employers keep just tacking on more workloads.
Get more done.
Yeah, get more
Yeah.
done since
Probably because of the lack of a workforce.
that too.
Yeah, they don't have as many people to fill positions. I mean, you could be like me and Nicole, and it's just the two of us right now, and
Yeah.
we're basically like
That's a
running
perfect
the board
example.
on 60 hours, like, which neither of
I don't know
like
how that's possible.
it's
but
not. We like there's no way
Yeah.
combined the two of us only work 60 hours. Like that's I probably work more than that a week period myself, and it's not because we want to do that. It's just everyone is having the same problem. Nobody
Yeah.
can find employment right now, or employees, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like it just takes time too. You have to see it through.
Yeah, and people are still having to make a decision about like, okay, do I stay at home with my kid because my kid's not in school,
Yeah.
and do I send my kid to daycare, and even if they can feasibly afford daycare, right? Like, how do you make a choice to say, okay, is it safe enough? Well, that's just a tough choice for parents to have to make.
Right. I feel like there's definitely been like a shift in people's mental health over the whole
Oh,
pandemic.
completely. And you're going to see, so we as a country are going to see a huge shift in
Mhm.
the amount of social workers who are needed because
Yeah.
of the mental health crisis that has happened due to the pandemic. And it's not just adults, it's children. I mean,
Mhm.
even like my 13-year-old is struggling hardcore right now because, his life has changed so much. He's a social person. Social workers are going to become basically the new RNs. They're going to have, we're going to have to start paying them more. They're going to have to be more. My mom's an RN and they'll pay her $500 just to walk through the door at work. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, they'll give her $500 cash to pick up an extra day at work.
Wow.
And right now, there's a lack of therapists, a lack of counselors, a lack of social workers, a lack of all of these services that these kids and adults need, and they're not available. They're months out. You have people struggling and needing to even get into a psych ward. You know what I mean? At Hurley or any place like that, and they can't because they're not available. There's no space for them.
Mhm.
They don't have a therapist that's even available to talk to them for months. It's going to be crushing, if we don't figure out a way to fix it.
Yeah.
It's got to get fixed. So I applied for my organizational leadership and social justice PhD. Yeah.
Okay.
From Adler University in Chicago. Cool thing about COVID is before, a lot of universities didn't offer online classes. Now they do. So this school, I would have probably not had the opportunity to actually attend if COVID wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
And so one of the things you have to do for your PhD application is write a statement of intent. And so I sent it to Nicole to test, hey, what do you think of this? I tried to make it really personable and just different from the normal statement of intent.
Yeah.
And Nicole sent it back, and I was supposed to turn this thing in less than 24 hours.
Oh my.
The application for me to start in the summer semester is due in less than 24 hours. And it's just destroyed. And I'm like, okay, well, I need to tell this advisor that I am not going to be able to submit this on time. And I'm very grateful because part of the statement of intent is that's how you're awarded scholarship dollars. Mm-hmm. So I needed to be really good, and we were just super swamped with stuff like grant writing and things like that. So I just, it wasn't a priority. So now that she's went through and completely, red inked the whole thing.
Made appropriate suggestions so that you accurately represented yourself.
Yeah. So I have to redo that, and then my whole application will be completed, and I can actually start my PhD in the fall.
So what is organizational? What was that big title?
Organizational leadership and social justice.
Okay, so what is organizational leadership and social justice? If you had to.
So organizational
Sum that up.
Leadership is basically what I do now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm the executive director of a housing crisis center, Family Promise. And so I lead an organization. So that's
Yeah.
kind of self-explanatory.
Uh-huh.
But it just kind of divulges more into that, in depth into that. And then for me, the social justice was kind of like the selling point for me on that school. Because when you go to get your PhD, one of the things, if you ever do this, you will find is you spend more time researching the school that you go to. You know, it's like that's how than anything else. So that made it really easy for me to choose to go to school there, just because of what I do now.
Right.
I think it's really important to have that aspect of that part of my degree for what I want to do in the future. If I can help other people or teach other people how to do what I do, and it can make, you know, more people want to help or be a housing advocate for people that need it, then
absolutely.
Yeah, that's then my goal has been reached. Though you have to look at your master's stuff in order to apply for your doctorate, and where I'm at now in comparison to when I applied to graduate for my master's, I'm like nowhere where I thought I would be. I was going to be teaching on stage in Florida how to cut hair. You know, that was my goal, was to be an exhibit performer, like hair educator. And here I am running a homeless shelter in Flint, Michigan. You know what I mean? So we have these goals that we set for ourselves, and that's originally why we go out and to go to school or get a degree. Yeah. But life kind of takes you down its own path, and you end up here.
Clearly did, yeah.
Yeah.
So why the PhD? I have to ask. What made you choose to continue that?
Just the education part of it, because I want to be able to be an educator. Like, after I tell people all the time, I'm never going to leave here. They're going to have to kick me out of Family Promise. But I could still work as a professor and still work here, teach classes here, and teach, you know, nonprofit management, nonprofit leadership, just a bunch of different things. Now, if I didn't want to end up in the education sector, like retire from the education sector, let's say, I probably wouldn't go get my PhD because it wouldn't be necessary. But specifically because of wanting to be in education and at a post-secondary level, my PhD was just necessary. It was a means to
teach
ends.
you, it was just the next step.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. And now, I mean, why not? I do way too much anyways. It's like, what's a PhD? Who cares?
It's just a PhD.
It's just a PhD. My friends are like, you're crazy. Why? Like, it's hard? I
was on Twitter, and I saw this thread. It was a doctor. I think it was a medical doctor. She was not using her title, and people were trying to convince her to start using the doctor title.
Oh, yeah.
And I think eventually she must have started using the doctor title, and then she got a bunch of hate for it, or something like that, and the internet went crazy.
Right.
When you get the degree.
Oh, gosh. The first person I'm going to make call my doctor is my husband. Like, I'm going to make him call me Dr. Wharry.
I didn't even have to ask the question.
Oh, gosh.
I love that.
Oh,
absolutely.
Gosh. I think that's why, so me and my husband have been together for 12 years, and we just got married in February. So that's another thing that happened because of the pandemic. We were like, oh, let's just go get married at the Justice of Peace. I've only been planning a wedding 3 times for the last 12 years, whatever. But I still stand by the choice that he decided to marry me because he didn't want my last name on my degree. He wants my doctorate to say Wharry instead of Ferrier. So he will definitely be the first person. Like, I'm just going to have him always, he has to call me Dr. Wharry. Like, I had a professor, though, that told me that business executives, like people in business, are more cautious and aware of the doctorate title than any other field.
Really?
And I'm always very conscious of it. If I see somebody that has a doctorate, even like a PhD doctorate for any, I always try to call them doctor opposed to Mr. or Mrs.
I always,
Granted, I guess they're not an MD, but maybe it's because if you don't know like the intense work that goes into that. if somebody gets angry because I want them to, doctor, I don't know that I would correct somebody if they're like, oh, Mrs. Wharry. I don't think I'd be like, that's Dr. Wharry. Thank you. I guess it would depend on where I
feel
was
like if
at.
it were me, I don't know if I would be angry, but I also wouldn't be mad at somebody for correcting me either.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I would want to be corrected if I made the error.
I would definitely
If it bothered
correct a
someone.
student. Like if I was teaching a class and like a student called me Mrs.
Yeah.
Wharry or something, I don't know how I guess I would learn that over time to
Yeah.
say, oh, it's Dr. Wharry or whatever.
Yeah, I mean...
Or call me Doc. But
Yeah.
no, not really. But a student definitely, but probably because that would be the role that we would have to be in that situation. I don't know if I would, correct someone, but I would definitely put it on everything I own. There's a coffee mug that I'm gonna buy to put like for when I do get my doctorate, and it says Miss, Mrs. Doctor, and like they're like crossed off, and then the doctor is.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like for me, and I'm definitely not getting a PhD anytime soon. Probably never. Definitely never. At one point I did, because at one point I wanted to be like a physicist. But
I wanted to be a pharmacist, so.
But if it were me, I would just, I don't know. I would be afraid to make someone feel bad about it, but I would definitely want them to know.
Oh yeah, you put it on your like vanity license plate, like Doc Sack.
Or just like correcting someone. Like I'd want to approach it gently, but I want you to know you done bad.
Yeah. Or if it's somebody you're attracted to and they're like, oh yeah, hey, Mr. blah, 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 blah. And you're like, that's doctor.
That's doctor for you.
Yeah, that's doctor. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's funny.
Was there anything else you wanted to mention for your segment there?
No, it's just good to see you, man. This is awesome. It's been so long.
Thanks for being on the show.
Yes, this is so cool. I'm so happy to be here and talk about roller derby and come check out Zero.
Alrighty, that's gonna wrap it up for us today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, you want to learn more about Family Promise and how you can help, visit the show notes. The link is going to be in the description. That's where you can find all of the information, all the social medias. Everything is going to be right there. Make sure you give this video a like, comment, subscribe, share with all your friends. Hit that bell icon to stay notified every time we post a new video. If you have any questions, you can always reach out, send an email or an Instagram DM. Thank you guys so much for being on. It was a pleasure to
Thanks for having us. It was
chat
super
with y'all
fun.
today. I'll see you guys next time on Coffee with Zach. Peace. Okay,
Perfect.
that does it for the episode.
Cool.
We're looking over as if we can see Nicole. She's behind the corner.
I'm shaking my head like this. No, I don't. Do you need me to mic check again?
No, I think we're okay.
Okay.
Appropriate suggestion.
Yeah, appropriate. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check 1, 2.